Look, man, I want to take a car and turn it upside down in the tunnel and shoot a bunch of zombies and fire off a bunch of missiles and then accidentally mess it up. Let's go. It's the Andy B Show, a video game podcast for adult gamers. This is episode 34 for Monday, January 12th. 2026, and I'm so glad you're here with me. I played some video games this week, and maybe you have too, and I think we should get right into it. I mentioned on Threads, where you can follow me at andrew.m.b, that I had to cut content out of this podcast. I tried to keep it around an hour. I got 3 hours worth of content. How is there so much going on in like the first full week of video games in 2026? It's really wild. But without further ado, we're going to jump right in. Because there's a video game that has some words in it that I almost can't believe I get to tell you. It is a roguelite racer. It's called Carmageddon. Rogue Shift. The classic car combat franchise is back. And according to the blog at PlayStation.com, it's driving down a new lane. These are the folks, the developers of 34 Big Things, the team behind Redout, and now the new revival of Carmageddon. So it's car combat. It's a roguelike. It is procedurally generated courses every time you do a run, like most roguelikes are to some extent. And every time you die, or crash in this case, because it looks a lot like Burnout Paradise, Burnout Revenge to me, is what it really reminds me of, except all the missiles and stuff is a little bit different. All of the machine guns and heat-seeking missiles, and apparently, just a ton of, really difficult obstacles. They show cars going down these tunnels that have these weird, goopy, glowing, radioactive hanging corpuscles. Turns out it's zombie apocalypse. So a little bit of zombie apocalypse, a little bit of roguelike. I don't think we say light anymore. I think it's just roguelike. A game like Rogue. Or you could simplify it and say a run-based game. We're going to do a run. It's going to change a little bit. We're going to change a little bit along the way. And then we're going to run it again. We're going to run it one more time. We're going to keep going. So that got announced this week. Maybe there were some announcements before, but I had not heard of any. It is the year 2050, year on Earth. And after devastating wars, natural disasters, and swarms of zombies, humanity is left on the brink. Are you going to solve it in Carmageddon? No. You're just trying to get out. So you're trying to beat all of the other racers out there to try and get like your ticket out of the city, I guess. The blog says, the champion wins the right to attempt the perilous journey that leads to the spaceport beyond the mountains. To traverse this treacherous terrain, you'll need the experiences and gear that can only be gained from the Carmageddon races. With just one jet left, the only chance to flee this dying world is worth more than any reward. Okay, sounds good. We got a little bit of story, just enough to get us involved. And a gameplay loop that so many of us are used to now with these run-based games, right? Roguelikes. We fight a little bit, we gain some experience, maybe we unlock some type of currency, we die, or in this case, crash, and then we upgrade, and then we do it again and see the benefits. And it's a loop that folks have been enjoying since the video game Rogue, which is why they call it a game like Rogue or a roguelike. But this game is nothing like Rogue in the way that it looks and plays, based on the short video they've shown. Look, man, I want to take a car and turn it upside down in a tunnel and shoot a bunch of zombies and fire off a bunch of missiles and then accidentally mess it up. The thing that's interesting to me about this one is the idea that it's going to be procedurally generated environments. Like, you're supposed to spawn in the world. You've got your classic, I say classic racer, but it's like futuristic racer. They said there's 15 different war rigs and there's going to be boss fights. But every time you log in or do another run, it's going to be different. And games like Burnout Revenge, Burnout Paradise that I'm I didn't play Red Out. Red Out was apparently their last big game. Those types of games, you kind of get used to the map, where the turns are, where the jumps are. So if this is going to be procedurally generated, like, that's very interesting. But then are you ever going to really learn? I assume that they're going to have some things that you probably would notice, some building blocks in a course or in a run. You're like, okay, I know this turn. I know it's going to connect over here, but maybe it doesn't. They say in the blog, in Rogue Shift, no two runs are exactly alike. As you progress through randomly generated paths, you'll have the opportunity to win events and defeat opponents to gain upgrade credits. The Carmageddon ain't over. When you wreck your ride, though, you begin anew. Yeah. Plotting your route through the wasteland. So this comes out soon. February 6th. So it's not exactly a shadow drop, but it is the kind of, like, okay, if this game was already announced and everybody knew about it but me, fine. I'm okay with that. You could tell me that. I would go, look, I'm pretty hep to the news, but maybe I don't know everything. No problem. But I think they announced it and they're going to launch it with like 30 days in between. That's pretty sweet. Like, that's kind of how we want it, right? Like, drop something, get me excited, and then give it to me. Like, I don't want to wait 6 years. The Xbox account said 2026 is going to be a great year for games that end in 6. And people think they're teasing that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out this year, that we've been waiting for like 10 years or more. Okay. Like, I get it. Bethesda games are big. Sometimes they're too big. Sometimes they get canceled because Microsoft gets a little impatient waiting around since they bought the studio. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But 30 days between announcement and the game in my hands and run-based car combat roguelike, like, I am. Put it on the list, man. I need to put it on the list right now. I might do it live on the show. I might go straight to the I should really get back to that game list and stick it on here before I forget about it. I think they're probably going to be like posting about this one a lot. It is something that looks very like you could make some cool videos from this game. Okay, so that's Carmageddon Rogue Shift. What else is going on? We got a lot of show today. Like I mentioned, we've got, I don't even know if I'll get to all of it. So we had talked about doing even more Game Awards stuff. There's a new article out by Big Nerd Gaming that I like to cover. There's a bunch of additional game reveals and trailers that have come out in the last week that I'd love to talk to you about. Show you if you're watching on the Spotify video or YouTube or Patreon. If you're listening only, which is actually how I consume my podcast, I listen to them on Apple Podcasts, where you can also find the show. You're never going to hear like sound effects from trailers on this show because it doesn't make sense. But I do show them sometimes. So if you're one of those people that Audible and Amazon advertise to, and they're like, what if you're reading the book and then you could flip over and listen to the narration of the book and then flip back? And I'm like, I can't. That's not for me. I can't start reading it and then flip to the narration and pop back. Maybe I can, but it feels like it's one or the other. Like, I'll pick a book. That's my audiobook. I'm not going to go back and forth. But if you're somebody that's going back and forth, or God forbid, watching this show twice in a week, you could listen to it once and then watch it later in one of the platforms that lets you watch it. And I show things, but it's an audio first show. Audio first means you're not going to hear it. The trailers that I'm playing, I'm not even going to reference them. So anyway, I did, but that trailer looks good. Carmageddon, a roguelike racer. I've been playing some other games. Arc Raiders, been playing some more Arc Raiders. Me and a good buddy have been playing. We've been out there raiding. At my work, there's this big push. A bunch of people have decided we're all going to play together. I don't know if they got bored over the holidays and they're like, we're all playing together. And it's just pushed that a bunch of people get together and do it for a couple of weeks. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's cool. Some of them are playing Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3. Yeah, the best one. Some of them are playing Battlefield 6. And others are not doing any of that. They're just playing Arc Raiders. That's me. So playing some Arc Raiders. I played some last night. Did a bunch of runs. There's a limited time event that ends by the time you hear this, unless you're in the early access. There was like a winter event where you had to go into a snowy zone and gather candleberries, and the snow will freeze you. It will give you frostbite if you're out too long, so you're constantly searching for cover. I finally played a round last night that doesn't have that mode. It's not the cold snap mode. And when you run around without it, you're like, wait a minute, I'm free. I can just roam. Yes, there's Ark and other raiders out here, but there's no cold. It's like delightful. It's freeing. I could just walk around, and it's a very beautiful game. I've been playing some Ark Raiders. We played for a couple hours last night, and there's no. But some of you have asked me to stream Ark Raiders. I'm going to do that, I think, but I don't have it set up yet. I've got the setup to do it. I just haven't tested the new headset. I have this little Elgato chat device that's supposed to work well and split the right audio in so you can hear me and them. And I had to test it out. It's going to take a little bit of just making sure the stream sounds good. So we'll see. But I do plan to play some on stream. It is interesting. I've been enjoying watching other people play, but playing it yourself is a big deal. So, yeah. We didn't have any rats last night. Nobody that was seemingly friendly and then turned on you. I did watch some much more experienced players take down something called an architect. I don't remember what it was. It looked like a big Halo machine. Huge spider looking thing, not the leaper, the one that can jump across huge distances, but I don't know all the names of the Ark. If I got killed by Abstract OW, the Ark Raiders trivia guy that's constantly on TikTok, I would have a big problem because I don't know all the answers to his questions except for the ones that I memorized from watching his clips. But yeah, Ark Raiders still great, still playing that. I spent a little bit of time this week playing Hardspace, Shipbreaker, and Powerwash Simulator 2. I did my Powerwash Simulator 2 work in co-op on the PlayStation Portal, and so many of you chimed in about how you're using the PlayStation Portal. We're going to get to some of that in community feedback down the road here on the show. Hardspace Shipbreaker, I assume there's 3 acts because I finished Act 1. I must be in Act 2. And if you don't know what Hardspace Shipbreaker is, or if it's your first time joining the show in the past few weeks, you're a space blue-collar worker. And it's the year like 2300 or something. So everybody's in space. We've colonized Mars. There's railways that take you all around the Milky Way galaxy. But guess where you are? You're floating above Earth, dismantling ships that have, seen their usefulness come to an end. And so it's a workman's kind of game. And you're just making sure that you can stay out of debt. And it just so happens that you're in like $1.2 million worth of debt, or $1 billion. I think you're $1.2 billion worth of debt. Now, with inflation, 300 years from now today, that's basically the cost of a Chipotle burrito. But 300 years from now, it still seems like a lot because you're ripping these ships apart and you're getting money every time you do it, but it costs you like $560,000 a day just to work for the company. They charge you for everything. It's very dystopian, kind of a, pro-union. There's a secret union they're trying to form in the game. And they've sent in some manager to crack down on all this union talk. We're the safest. The Lynx Corporation is the safest it's ever been. And we don't need all these safety regulations. We care about our employees. You don't need a union to fight for your rights. So it's, it's that little tongue in cheek, but the gameplay is like, they take it very seriously, taking these ships apart in the right order. So you don't, trigger a nuclear meltdown on the reactor before you can get it out into the safety of the barge. And every time you pull apart a panel or pull out a computer or, a captain's chair, you got to put it into the right slot in the yard. So it's very like chop wood, carry water, which was the name of the show episode last week, kind of a game. It's been a lot of fun. But, if you were somebody that was thinking about forming a union, just like in, this feels weird to say, just like in The Office, Dunder Mifflin might close your branch down like that. And that's what happened to Ubisoft Halifax, allegedly. According to GamesIndustry.biz, Ubisoft is shutting down Ubisoft Halifax just a week after the studio workers unionized. Ubisoft says the studio shutdown has nothing to do with the union. 71 people are affected by that change. Ongoing, quote, actions to streamline operations, improve efficiency, and reduce costs hit the studio, which announced the union this week. I think if they can't wait a week, it might have had something to do with them unionizing. It's possible. But according to the company, what they said in a statement, this is by John Hicks, the editorial director of GamesIndustry.biz. They said, over the past 24 months, Ubisoft has undertaken company-wide actions to streamline operations, improve efficiency, and reduce costs. And as part of this, Ubisoft has made the difficult decision to close its Halifax studio. 71 positions will be affected. We're committed to supporting all impacted team members during this transition with resources, including comprehensive severance packages and additional career assistance. Doesn't matter if it's 2300 and you're in space, or if you're in Ubisoft Halifax, which is not Halifax, New Jersey. It's somewhere in Canada. They might shut you down if you unionize, or it's random. Totally random. Could be. Looks like they were working on mobile titles for Rainbow Six and Assassin's Creed, which, you know, nobody's paying attention to those franchises, right? Demand's got to be low. So good luck to those folks as they transition out of Ubisoft. What else is going on? Oh, folks, this is kind of the week that it's a big week if you're into animals and crossings. If you're into both, Animal Crossing, the new update comes out this week. And it's the version 3.0 update, which is free. And there's a Switch 2 edition, which is like, I think, $20. And so if you are not ready, if you haven't logged into your town to clean up all your weeds and stuff, don't worry. Mr. Resetti is going to be included and help you clean up your town for a small fee. Pull the weeds. I don't know if he cleans up the roaches, but he gets stuff done. So this is coming out this week. I think it comes out on January 15th, if memory serves, which is Thursday this week. So you're going to get improved graphics. Those little characters are going to look just slightly better. Get your 4K graphics. But there's a ton of additional stuff, not just for the Switch 2 edition, which gives you like mouse controls, which actually, if you're doing the designs, could be kind of nice if you're a designer. But there's an entirely new area of the island. They do like a hotel in there. You're going to be able to run your own hotel and design it, take on new quests and things like that. So there's just going to be a ton more to do and a bunch of new updates. Some of it's free, some of it's not free. Go out there and search on Nintendo if you're interested. But don't tell me I didn't warn you that you need to carve out some time this week, starting Thursday, for Animal Crossing. Because if you don't, it'll be there when you get to it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't stress. Don't take this false urgency I was hitting you with. Let me give you some real urgency instead. You go over to patreon.com/the Show, TheAndybee show. And you can sign up for free. Don't let some huge multinational conglomerate algorithmic organization keep us apart. You can go over there to patreon.com/TheAndybee show, and you'll never miss a quip of mine. You'll never miss an episode. You'll get exclusive videos. And of course, you can subscribe for early access to this podcast every week. There's no reason to not get it early. Why wait around for Monday afternoon? You could be listening to this at least 12 to 24 hours early, sometimes a couple of days. Definitely sign up for free. You don't even have to subscribe, but if you do want to support the show, I definitely appreciate it. So thank you. We've got an incredible amount of news. Like, I'm just going to keep rolling. So if you want me to stop and slow down, I don't know what to tell you, because There's new Xbox Game Pass games. They're coming in January. If you're somebody that subscribes to this and you're listening to this show, you've already got some of them. For example, you've already got the video game Brews and Bastards and Little Nightmares. Those are 2 games that came out on the 6th. On the 8th, you got Final Fantasy. I think that's the original Final Fantasy, maybe remade. Hold on, I have to check. What do you mean Final Fantasy? All any of them? It is a remodeled 2D take on the first game in the world-renowned Final Fantasy series. Enjoy the timeless story told through charming retro graphics. All the magic of the original with improved ease of play. That sounds nice. So if you're a Game Pass Ultimate or Premium or PC Game Pass subscriber, you've got that. What else is coming out this month on Xbox Game Pass? It looks like we've got... Where's the rest of them? There they are. Yeah, there's some good ones in here if you're into them. And again, they're changing the premium. Like there's things come to Ultimate and if it comes to Ultimate, it goes to Premium. But Premium is kind of, I think, the sweet spot for their subscriptions. So you've got Lost in Random, The Eternal Die, Atomfall, which is moving from Ultimate to Premium, Space Marine, Master Crafted Edition. In the grimdark future. There's a Rematch, which I still would like to play. Rematch is a soccer game built by the folks that I'm pretty sure did some work on Rocket League, if memory serves. And since Rocket League is basically soccer anyway. If you're on Ultimate, you've got Star Wars Outlaws, which was just, I think, $20 in a bunch of places. But hey, you're paying $30 a month. Why wouldn't you have access to Star Wars Outlaws? Coming to Ultimate and Premium is My Little Pony. Village, aka Resident Evil 8, is coming to Ultimate and Premium. And the new game that's coming out from Focus Entertainment, Mio, Memories in Orbit. Memories in Orbit is getting I don't know if the art style is for me, but it's getting a lot of like play. Like, people are talking about it. I can't tell if it's like pay for play. Please disclose if you've been paid to talk about Memories in Orbit or anything else. A handcrafted Metroidvania set within a vast decaying world reclaimed by nature and robots. Play as Mio, a nimble android exploring labyrinthine environments, battling rogue machines, not a roguelike. The machines are rogue, not you. And uncovering lost memories in a richly atmospheric adventure filled with secrets and dangers. So that's on the 20th. So there's a bunch of new games coming out there on Xbox Game Pass. If you're into it, if you're one of those Game Pass people. There's a new demo out. If you didn't download it yet, now's your chance. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined demo is out there now. You can enjoy that. I did download the demo, and I did not play it. So right on schedule. Again, look, hey, it's been a busy work week. I've been playing some Arc Raiders if I've had time, or these Workman games. I got to focus. I think 2026 is the year of like me actually finishing some games. I'm going to try and stick with some to find an end. There's not really an end to Arc Raiders, but it's fun. Yeah, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. I remember when Dragon Quest VII came out, and I was like, oh, it's like on the PlayStation 2. That's an amazing looking game. And then I never bought it, and I never played it. But it looked good. The music is by the Tokyo Metropolitan Symphony Orchestra. It's got updated graphics. It looks very, very nice. Yeah, it brings the timeless classic to life in a whole new way with charming diorama visuals. Now, where have you heard that before? The diorama look. It's all these other Square Enix games, right? Octopath Traveler games, the new Adventures of Elliot games, that one's coming out sometime this year. Updated gameplay mechanics and a streamlined story. A streamlined story. If you go to the comments on the YouTube video announcement trailer, they're like, why are you censoring the character art? And nobody's talking about the story streamlining. What does that mean? What have they cut? What are they doing differently 20 years later? Like when did Dragon's Quest 7 originally come out? 25 years ago. Yeah, August 26th, 2000. So what have they cut since then? Look, our sensibilities change. Gamer sensibilities, real and imagined, constantly changing. That demo is out now. You could play it. I would say should play it, but I haven't played it, so I can't tell you should have done anything. Don't let anybody should on you, okay? Like, let me help you out. If you feel like it's coming, just be aware. Speaking of old RPGs that are out now, you can log on to Nintendo Switch Online if you're a member and you have a Nintendo Switch too. And what you might do is play the GameCube classic of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. That's out now. This was a GameCube game. I had this version. When I saw this trailer, I was like, this is just in Japanese. Like, am I misremembering? Did it not release in the United States? I thought that there was a US version. And somebody told me that, no, you remembered correctly. This is, I don't know why the trailer's only in Japanese. Maybe Fire Emblem's just bigger out there. But you can go play it now. I assume in English. I haven't clicked the button to play it yet. I do have Nintendo Switch Online. But it is a Fire Emblem revival if you're somebody out there that's like playing those. Though I mostly played the Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem games. Those were great. That's out there, and the original soundtrack is on Nintendo Music. Nintendo Music, the hottest music app of 2025. We got more quick news. I hope you're holding on. Grab onto something. Because Mario Tennis Fever is here. That's right, Mario Tennis Fever, the sequel to Mario Tennis on the NES. NES? Was it? I can't remember if it was actually on the NES. I don't think so. When was the first Mario? When was the first Mario Tennis? Maybe it was the Super NES. Shut up. According to Google, that can't be right. This is like the AI search result. I don't even want to believe this. It says the initial release for Mario Tennis was Mario's Tennis on the Virtual Boy in Japan, July 21st, 1995. And then the popular Mario Tennis on the Nintendo. The AI overview just like spit on the Virtual Boy. The popular Mario Tennis, not the one that came out on the Virtual Boy, was on the Nintendo 64 in the year of our Lord 2000. So yeah, if you go to the Wikipedia site, it does not in the headline reference the earlier 1995 game. Oh, it does say it. It says following Mario's Tennis. It's the second game in the Mario Tennis series. So, but it does not go like, oh yeah, Virtual Boy. Yeah, it doesn't really reference it, but it makes you wonder whether Mario's Tennis for the Virtual Boy is going to come out when Nintendo releases the Virtual Boy stuff. Because they're supposed to release like a plastic, like slide the switch in version of the headset. Well, it wasn't really a headset. It was like a table set. Anyway, if you don't know what the Virtual Boy is, that's a whole nother show. But yeah, Mario Tennis Fever is coming out. They got fever rackets. They got rackets with team ups and special ups, and you're going to be able to play as all the favorite Mario characters. There's mini games. The only thing I need to know is there a run-based version of this game? Is there a roguelike version of Mario Tennis where you start out and Bowser just like pounds it, sends you back home to the Mushroom Kingdom, and then you gain a little bit of XP and get 0.2% faster backhand and then go again. That's what I need to know. Around the B household here, my kids will play the Wii, not Wii Sports, Nintendo Switch sports games, including tennis and badminton. I like badminton. I bought a a pickleball racket set from Amazon. In town here, my like local sports complex here has a bunch of pickleball courts, and people keep talking about it. Fastest growing sport in the United States, pickleball. So I got like a 4-pack of rackets and a 4-pack of pickleballs, which just look like wiffle balls, I guess. And learned a lot about the game, except the rules, and I haven't gone out there and played them yet. But that came in like last week. I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna get out there and play some pickleball. But yeah, this the Mario Tennis looks good, but just like the Mario Soccer that came out, are people buying this? Like, I guess, look, there's no Nintendo game that if you bought it, especially a Mario, if they put Mario in the title, you're gonna have a good time with it. I think, especially if you got people in your house you want to play with. I think you're gonna have a great time. There's a 6-minute trailer about Mario Tennis Fever, and I haven't even watched the whole thing. That's about where I'm at with Mario Tennis, which is like, it's neat, but someone's really going to have to sell me on it. And you're going to have to sell me first on watching the whole trailer because I'm not there. So what does that tell you? But if you're really into it, like, please tell me. Like, I'm interested to know if you're interested. Leave me a comment somewhere. Let me know. Mario Tennis Fever, man. Gotta tell you. There was a lot of chatter about an early access co-op action RPG by the makers of the Banner Saga, and I assume by the makers of the Banner Saga 2, which is launching out of early access and into 1.0 next month, being February. And I was like, what is this game? It sounded good. I've been on the lookout for a hot tower defense game. The kids and I have been playing Pixel Junk Monsters, which is a PS3 game that you can play on backwards streaming compatibility. And I was like, man, why aren't there any good tower defense games anymore? There should be a run-based tower defense game, but there's not that I know of. So when I heard of Towerborne, I was like, oh, that sounds like a tower defense game. It's not. It has tower in the name. I don't know how they missed it, but it's not. Marcus Stewart over at GameInformer.com gave us this overview. It is a side-scrolling co-op action RPG winding down its early access period, launching in 1.0 next month. It comes from Stoic, the studio behind the Banner series. And apparently it has New Game Plus. It was announced during yesterday's New Game Plus showcase. Oh no, that might be a show. That might be something else. That might be like a showcase named New Game Plus, and I've just never heard of it before. It's a co-op fantasy action RPG in the vein of a classic beat-em-up. Players control an immortal warrior named Ace, who must defend the land against a deadly corruption while solving the mystery of a crumbling city. And, I haven't seen too much on it, really. But I was interested. The name is great. I don't know why I like the name, but the name is great. And they've got some gameplay video in here, and it's striking to look at. You're like, okay, this looks like a very pretty, like, it's not cel shaded. It's like hand-drawn art looking, beautiful side-scrolling game. So there's like a whole interview that's captured here on GameInformer.com's article. And I'm looking forward to read more about it. We'll see. I haven't watched this interview. I haven't watched the article. I've just seen like a snippet of it. And there's people that have been playing in early access that that commented on threads and told me like, no, this thing's like the real deal. So there's a bunch of these like side-scrolling co-op action RPGs out right now. Some of them are run-based, some of them are not. Absalom is a run-based one. There's a new Ninja Turtles game, or we've been playing an old Ninja Turtles game, so it feels new to me. But there was Marvel Ultimate, can't remember the name of it. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I got there. Took me a minute. I made it over. If you thought I was halfway through the news, I'm not. I don't know. I'm cutting stories and I'm still not halfway through. You should know that there's video games coming out in 2026. pressstart.com.au, the Australian version, released a nice article about all the games that are coming out. So this is a little reminder, like what's down the pipe. If you're a PlayStation 5 owner, the number one that's coming out pretty soon for me, and also for a lot of people, is Sorrows. So we know Sorrows is like the spiritual sequel, the next game from the developers of Returnal. We've talked about it on the show before. That's in April 30th. In March, it's Marathon. So it's a little reminder. If you're into the Souls-like, hard as nails, tough as nails, and action RPGs, there's both Neo 3 in February and then Phantom Blade 0 on September 9th. So those are coming. They showcased those, I think, both at the Game Awards, or Phantom Blade 0 was big Game Awards. There's a rumor of a God of War spinoff in Egypt. If you're into fighting games, Marvel Token Fighting Souls is coming sometime this year. They've run a couple of betas. I've heard people talk about it. They say it's a really great fighting game. I used to love Marvel vs. Capcom 2, both in the arcade and on the Dreamcast. Sometime in 2026, they think Marvel's Wolverine is coming out. I still need to go back and beat Spider-Man 2. I'm not sure if all these, I don't think any of these that just say like release date to be determined and platforms to be determined is worth putting in an article about 2026 video games, but here we are. But those are some of the big ones for me. It's like, okay, well, Sorrows, Marathon, Wolverine, purchase. I think I'm in the purchase camp on Marathon now. I've played enough Arc Raiders where I'm like, I'm not scared of the extraction shooter. The extraction shooter in Arc Raiders does not bother me. It does bother some people, though, because there's been reports of people cheating in Arc Raiders. According to Dextero here, they've got an article that says that devs have been returning items to players who died to cheaters in games, and they're committed to building an environment where gameplay is about skill. They post an image of a in-game pop-up that says items returned. I'm just going to read you the text from the in-game message that some players are getting. Your items were lost due to unfair play, but we managed to get them back for you. They're now available for you to claim and take with you on your next journey topside. We're committed to building an environment where gameplay is about skill, teamwork, and fun, and not unfair advantages. Thank you for being a part of this mission. Together, we're building Arc Raiders into a fair and fun experience for everyone. So the developers can tell people are cheating, can't stop them, but can recognize it, like some telemetry in the game is letting them know that they're cheating and that someone's cheating. And they can return people's items that, got looted or, killed or whatever and couldn't get back, couldn't extract. So they lost all their gear. It's like, well, they should just fix it, right? Like, if you can tell, can't you just fix it? And of course, those might be two different things, right? Being able to know and being able to stop. And I've seen some videos recently about people that have like a ballistic shield that's supposed to just cover a little bit, and they've got 6 ballistic shields all around them, clearly hacking the game. And most of that, I'm sure, is coming from PC and it's cross-platform. As always, I would love to as always, in mini games, I would love to if it's cross-platform, select which platforms I would like to play cross-platform against, because usually it's just the consoles. I don't really want all these hackers on the PC. Sometimes people have hacked their machines. We mentioned last week, maybe the PlayStation 5 is hacked. It's been reportedly hacked. Yeah, they're going to make some big changes. And apparently if you're in high-level play, you're probably experiencing more cheaters. If you're like me and you're like level 13 or something like that, nobody's bothering me. I've had some pretty good runs. There were some leaks recently about the Steam machine. Some pricing rumors dropped. A Czech retailer leaked potential prices for the Steam machine. If you remember, the Steam machine has 2 potential models. One of them is a 512 gigabyte storage model, which if you're just into like indie games, that's fine. And the other one is 2 gigabytes or 2 terabytes. Sorry. I was looking at this post here from Pure Dead Gaming that brought the leak out. and it said 2 gigabyte. I'm like, I don't think they mean gigabyte, terabyte, 2 terabyte. So it's going to 4x the storage from 512. And they said that translated for currency cost, it's $950 US for the 512 and 1,070 US for the 2 terabyte version. Now I could stop you right there because there's no way that it's only $170 difference for that storage difference between the two. It's not going to be the case. These prices are not accurate. They're probably placeholder prices, but I contend and will continue to propagate the idea, mostly to soften the blow for all of you. I think the Steam machine is going to be $1,000 US. I'm not sure if that's the more expensive one or not. I think, what I actually think is that the Steam machine is going to come out at $1,000, right around there, for the 512 gigabit version. And then the 2 terabytes is going to be like $11.99 or $12.99, somewhere in there. And I've been saying it since launch. I just think that's the pricing that it's going to be for all the reasons that you might imagine. Tariffs, RAM prices now with AI. That's a new thing that's come into play, but I still think it's the case. And Steam's not going to subsidize these machines and sell them at a loss like all these other PC manufacturers and handheld PC manufacturers like the ROG Ally. They're not dumbing down those price points. They're not subsidizing it. Those hardware manufacturers only do well if they make some money on the hardware. Now, Steam, you go, of course, Andrew, you got it wrong, buddy. Steam is both the hardware manufacturer and the first party because it's their store. But if you remember about the Steam machine, they're not trying to make it a storefront just for Steam. They go, it's a PC. You want to run the Windows store on it? Fine. You want to just run Linux? Fine. You want to dual boot Windows and Linux? Fine. They don't care. And they're very open about their standards. You know what else they're going to be open about? The price. It's going to be $1,000. So buckle up because they're not going to lose money on it because guess what? It is just a PC. It's a branded PC, but the branding has never cost less. Branding doesn't make things less expensive. I hope you're ready to open your wallet. If you want a Steam machine, it's going to be $1,000. We'll find out if I'm right, but I am not scared to say that I think that's what it's going to be, and I got pretty good reason to think so. Last short news story here. I can't believe it. We're just like 40 minutes into this podcast. I'm just getting done with the news. Avowed has been announced for the PS5. Avowed has been announced for the PS5, and it's no surprise to anyone, really. You know, the Xbox games are going to come multi-platform. They're absolutely going to do it. They're not going to stop doing it. And why should they? You make extra money, you get a second bite at the apple, and everybody that, you know, was enjoying playing it on the Xbox and wants to play with a superior controller that had the DualSense with its haptic and force feedback triggers is probably going to have a much better time. And not the least of which, the reason why is that they've worked out all the bugs. New Game Plus is going to be in there. There's going to be 3 new races that you can play. The Dwarves, the Orland, and the Amaya? Something? Yeah. A brand new weapon type, photo mode, and more. So new abilities, just new things all around, really. I've been wanting to play Avowed. I mentioned I booted up my Xbox recently, and very much on the like, you know, I would love to see the Xbox do well. I would love to get in on the Game Pass subscription, but like I logged in and I don't know. There's just something about the Xbox like dashboard, and maybe I just need to resubscribe. Like a lot of things, a lot of these services, you resubscribe, everything comes alive. They're like, download the thing. Here you go. Like everything feels great now. Just give us $30 a month. And I don't mind paying for games. I don't mind paying for game subscriptions. I think it's high quality entertainment. People should get paid. There's probably a good profit reason for them to want to go do and build the games. It's fine. But I turned on that Xbox and blipped around it for about an hour and I was like, I'm out of here. I'm just going to go back to like buying games on the PlayStation. I assume this, all the stuff that's new is coming over to the regular game system as well, to the Xbox, that is, instead of just the PS5. The extra content, I'm sure, is going to both places. And we're going to take a break, folks. When we come back, I'm just like, I need a break after thinking about dealing with the Xbox dashboard. I need to step away for a minute. We got a couple of more pieces of story to tell you about, including what the heck Project Blackbird was, which is a now canceled game over at Xbox. And we've got plenty to talk about with your thoughts on the PlayStation Portal. And whose fault is it if you don't finish a game? See you in a minute. It's officially Developer Direct season. You can join Xbox on January 22nd, 10 a.m. Pacific Time, for an exclusive look at Fable, Forza Horizon 6, and a game called Beast of Reincarnation. I know a lot about the first two, or I think I know what to expect, but I do not know what to expect about Beast of Reincarnation. Xbox is going to do, I don't know if they're going to do an hour, 30 minutes, some type of Nintendo Direct-esque type of thing. They say the Developer Direct, as you would expect by the name, is presented by the game creators themselves. Microsoft ain't scripting this. They're not going to put those messages through the marketing department and make sure Sarah Bond approves them. They're just letting the developers rip. Get it right to you, you think? Do you think that that's true? I don't. But it doesn't mean I'm not interested. I do want to hear more about Fable. I do want to hear more about Forza Horizon 6, which is going to be set in Japan. Though, could it possibly be as exciting as Carmageddon at this point, the new Carmageddon game? What is Beast of Reincarnation, though? Join us as we delve into Game Freak's intense, one-person, one-dog action RPG. For the first time, Game Freak will reveal details of our protagonist Emma's innovative plant manipulation actions and gameplay with her canine companion, Koo. Koo. In Beast of Reincarnation, a profound and dangerous world unfolds in post-apocalyptic Japan. Okay. All right. Game Freak, though, like, I might be like, whatever. Game Freak is the company that makes Pokemon. Like, what? What? They're making, this will be a PlayStation 5 game, a Windows game, and an Xbox Series X and S game. It is the first AAA title by Game Freak outside of the Pokemon series, according to Wikipedia. Set to release in 2026. Set in Japan in a year we all know, 4026. The story follows Emma the Sealer and her dog Koo as they navigate a post-apocalyptic land ruined by corruption. So, sounds interesting. What's AAA though? Like, constantly the new Pokemon games come out and look like the Pokemon game they've released for the last 15 years. And everybody makes fun of them. They go, don't let anything stop you from just releasing just like your lowest effort work, right? Because here's Pokemon releasing video game graphics that look like they were, from the GameCube era. Kind of in a positive way. It looks cute and easy, but like, what are we doing? Like, the art style of Pokemon cards can be incredible. And the detail that's in them is amazing sometimes. But the game look has not evolved at all in like a decade and a half, 2 decades. What's happening? So they're going to make a AAA game. How are they going to get that done? They don't have any practice making like a modern post-apocalyptic. I am very curious to see what this looks like. Apparently they announced it in May 2023 under the working title Project Bloom. And the game's art style and story have been compared to Studio Ghibli and works such as Princess Mononoke. So, okay. We'll see on January 22nd. You can't stop us. We'll see. Because you're going to let those devs talk right to us. It's another week of the show, which means it's almost another time to tell you that Big Nerd Gaming has another article out. I enjoy connecting with Big Nerd Gaming out there on threads. Weston's out there constantly writing. This guy wrote 7,000 words for the 2025 Big Nerd Gaming Awards article. It came out last week. You could check it out. It is kind of like a spoiler-free article. And he goes through his version of best story. I'm just going to read a couple of these to you, and you can go to the article for the rest. Just go to bignerdgaming.com. Best story, Claire Obscure. Claire Obscure did not run the awards over at Big Nerd Gaming, though. They were in a couple of categories, but he's got like a top 10 runners up. Weston's the kind of person that just writes everything down as he like goes through it. It's kind of the way I make this like podcast agenda every week. I see stuff, I go, oh, I'm interested in that. I got some things to say about it. I'm going to write that down. I just throw it in a Notion file and then come back to it. That's the secret, folks. When you see something, you just write it down and look at it later. And that is most of life. Just do it like that. You'll be super organized. He's got a top 10 best stories at this point because of that. I'm sure his system's a little more intense than mine. Claire Obscure was first, Death Stranding 2, and then Ghost of Yote 1, 2, 3 for best story. It's pretty good. I'm planning on playing all three of those. I'm somewhere in the middle of Claire Obscure, I think. I'm not going to read the whole article like I mentioned. Best Exploration was a game I'd never even heard of. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. You're not gonna hear about that at Jeff Keighley's Game Awards. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. Best graphics and art went to Claire Obscure, then Ghost of Yote, then Dispatch. Dispatch was the third for best graphics and art. It's interesting. Best music went to Claire Obscure. Makes sense. Death Stranding 2. Octopath Traveler 0. Yeah. Definitely go check the article out if you're interested in a non-Jeff Keighley sponsored game of the year. What if you had a game that was similar to Bethesda's RPGs, but was accessible to open world gaming like Destiny, was dynamic like Warframe, constantly updating and changing, and encompassed a mysterious world somewhat like Horizon Zero Dawn? You might have ZeniMax's canceled Xbox MMO Project Blackbird. This got reported on a while ago by TrueAchievements.com, where Tom West over there had like an interview with some of the people, where he had like a lot of behind the scenes comments and stuff with some of the folks that were on the canceled team. Back when Xbox laid off like 9,000 people over the summer last year, this was one of the games that got the cut. And someone that survived the layoffs, but then just recently announced that they quit working at Microsoft, was because it was over this. I don't know how this came across the feed this week. It seemed like it all would have happened 6 months ago, but a major employee, somebody that's important to Bethesda, ZeniMax, I can't remember their name. As part of the human race, they're important to me, but like this came back up because they said, I'm quitting, and I'm quitting because Project Blackbird got axed. It's like, well, what is this? Well, it turns out they were going to make an MMO, and they already make the Elder Scrolls Online MMO, so they've got some history to it. And that game's been around for 10 years. And, you know, when are they going to do they're probably not going to do a second Elder Scrolls Online, right? You just keep evolving it. You don't make a World of Warcraft 2. You just don't do it. But you might make a different game. And they were going to make another game. Little was known about the project other than interview with Ben Jones in 2022, the game's creative director, who revealed then that almost 200 people were working on a very large-scale project. There have been a slew of job listings over the years. Apparently, you would have played a Revenant, an operative working for an alien syndicate on a remote, tidally locked planet called Soteria. One side of the planet burned under an endless sun, and the other side was covered in ice. So it's like not spinning, right? The two regions would have had a habitable area in the middle called the Twilight Band, a huge open world, and a focus on the planet's capital, Exodus, and many secrets and mysteries hidden in between. So the city is controlled by like a sentient AI, keeps everybody in check, but like most Bethesda games, there's factions that are kind of warring around the edges. So, it's like a Bethesda Studio RPG, but they were going to make it more like Destiny, I guess. You're going to have daily quests and missions. And the big thing here that was kind of interesting is the main storyline. The article says his main storyline involving players solving a high-profile murder and restoring order to Exodus. But then you would have repeatable assignments from the PAN. PAN is the AI. I forget what it stands for. I just called PAN. Maybe you figure out what it's called for. Maybe, what that means later. Maintaining the balance of the city, various side quests, learning more about the aliens. I think it'd have been neat. Yeah. PvP, co-op gameplay, plans for a housing system. That's not popular at all. World of Warcraft housing just launched recently. Yeah. Apparently it's the kind of game that people would quit their job at their long-running career over if it got canceled. So I thought that was interesting that article is, again, an older article now. It's out there on trueachievements.com. You can just search for Project Blackbird. I don't want to talk about AI today. We're not gonna talk about Larian. We're gonna talk about it for a minute. Larian did their Ask Me Anything out on Reddit about generative AI and anything else people wanted to ask about. And if you go read the thread on Reddit, I went and looked at it, so you don't have to. There was nothing, like all the questions about, hey, are you using generative AI to create the art, are all buried. They're all elsewhere. Everybody's asking questions about what's the new game going to be like. You're going to have, character relationships. Like, hey, in Baldur's Gate 3, it was like this, but what are you going to do in the new game? So everybody that is a fan of the game that is also on Reddit does not care about the generative AI use. It's totally buried. Nobody gives a rip at all. If you're a hater on generative AI, Larian's got nothing for you, and neither do their fans. So it's a big nothing burger. Everybody's like, well, we'll answer all the questions you have about generative AI, and nobody asked any. I don't know if that's true, but I did like 10 load more comments, and nothing near the top. So if it did get asked, it was downvoted. Not a lot of changes to the list for I should really get back to that game today. I don't think there's a lot in there. I did add Carmageddon Road Shift, but not enough to probably do like a whole segment on it. So we're going to move past it for today because most of it's kind of where it was. Like where we left last week was like Arc Raiders was number 1, and it's still number 1. Some of the other things have changed a little bit, but we'll come back next week when there's more new games to add or any big shifts. People want to know. They want to know the updates on I should really get back to that game. So I don't want to withhold it from you, but if there's not a lot of changes, we'll save it a week. But there was some stuff you had to say. A lot of you responded to a post I made on Threads, where you can follow me at andrew.m.b. I said the PlayStation Portal remains an unregretted purchase of mine post-holiday. Chilling on the couch and co-op gaming as if I had a second PlayStation in the same room is crazy work. I've been playing Powerwash Simulator 2 on it. My youngest B has been on the PlayStation 5 playing up on the TV, and I've been holding the PlayStation Portal, and we've been playing a co-op game. Now you say to me, Andrew, Powerwash Simulator has split screen. Why wouldn't you just play in split screen on the big screen? 2 reasons. Number 1, my youngest B doesn't want to play split screen. She wants the whole screen. She wants to see all the dirt. No, it's actually because, well, it does have split screen. It doesn't have shared campaign progression in split screen. You just join as an extra. And otherwise, though, when you play co-op in Powerwash Simulator 2, you do have your own progression in your career, shared progression. So when you earn money and Powerwash points for cosmetics, you get to keep those if you join in a co-op game, but not in split screen. So many of you, over 90 comments on this article, had stuff to say about it. JLee010 said the best thing to play on the PlayStation Portal is anything with a single player campaign, and that's it. God of War, Astrobot, Uncharted 4. I don't think I'd play Astrobot on this. The timing's pretty good, but I don't know. Cinema.fromage says Star Wars Outlaws. He shared a photo of his PlayStation Portal, which looks like maybe he's modded a little bit here. He's got some blue tape or something on the handles. Not tape, but like a D brand looking thing. He got it in June of last year and he loves it. JC Moorhead says, I love my Portal. It's been fantastic whenever I've visited my parents. I've mostly been playing Yakuza 0 on mine. It's the perfect game for it. Mark It Off said, I logged 500 hours on mine in 2025 after picking up one during the holidays of 2024. It's traveled with me everywhere, from an hour away via car to 2 time zones away via plane. Easily one of my favorite gaming purchases, and it's made even more valuable now that they've added the PlayStation catalog streaming and library streaming. So that's one of the biggest things about the PlayStation Portal that's pretty new, is that all of the game catalog games and all the games you own, well, maybe there's some that don't fit, right? So it's not 100%, but it's pretty much all the popular games you own. They'll just stream right off of Sony servers. So here in the house, when I would play from the PlayStation Portal to the PlayStation, I got the PlayStation broadcasting video over the network, and I got the Portal picking it up. And going back and forth. So there's a lot going on in the network, a lot of data transfer. And if some of the kids start streaming video or something on their tablets, it's like, okay, there's too much going on. There's some hiccups. But if you're just streaming the PlayStation Portal right off the Sony servers, it's pretty good. Like, there's almost no problems at all. So I've been doing that a lot. By Richie said, I'm considering buying a Portal just to play the exclusives and the PS Plus games I don't own, as I don't own a PlayStation. And I said, I think you should do that, but I think you need a PlayStation 5. And they're like, no, you don't need that. You don't even need a PlayStation 5 to hook it up. So not definitively said. I was worried that you needed a PlayStation 5 to activate it, but he seems to think no, and I couldn't find in my searching anything to say yes. So if you want to stream off of a PlayStation 5, you absolutely have to have PlayStation 5. But if you're a PlayStation Plus premium subscriber, you should be able just to stream it off the cloud services. And I couldn't find anything that says, no, you have to have a PS5. So maybe you don't have to have one. Somebody was playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. But the one that really surprised people, it said, wait a minute. You can play co-op online with the Portal and someone else is on the home PS5 at the same time. Yes. It works. I do it all the time. Probably going to go do it after I get off this podcast. Lastly, out of community feedback, thanks for all the comments on that one. I asked the question, if you don't finish a game, i.e. it's like a big game and you roll off of it before rolling credits, whose fault is it? The developers? You? Or some combination? Actually, I didn't have that option as a combination. I just said it's the developer's fault or it's your fault. Overwhelmingly, 74% of you said it's my fault. If I don't finish a game, it's on me. Only 12% of you said it's on the developers for like not designing the game in such a way that would keep you coming back or draw you through it or help you finish it. I would just like to help all 74% of you like right now. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. If the developers didn't make a game that was so compelling that you couldn't walk away from it until it was over, that's on them. This is not like a task at work where you're like, I don't know if I want to get back to it. Oh my God, I should get back to that game. It's on the developers. It's their job to do it. It's a hard job. They have to compete with every other piece of media out there. They have to compete with your family. They have to compete with everything else. It's not easy, but it's their role in creating compelling entertainment. Every television producer, book writer, even musician and producer, they all want you to get the most out of the content that they have. Some gamers and game developers rather take it too far into like gambling. They're like, let's get them addicted with blind boxes and, opening packs and seeing if we can get them excited about getting a hit. Okay, I'm not talking about the gambling. I'm just talking about did you finish the movie or did you turn it off because they lost the thread 90 minutes in and you got 2 hours more to go because it's that movie about brutalist architecture, The Brutalist, right? If they lost the plot, how do they expect you to keep it up? It's not on you. Just to help you out. Take some pressure off. That's the show this week, everybody. Thank you so much. Go to the Patreon, patreon.com/theandb show to subscribe for free, or subscribe to the show to be a friend of the show, get early access to episodes every week and exclusive videos. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.